Good morning, Rabotai. Welcome to Breakfast on the Class today. And the learning for this entire week is dedicated by the Torah Center founders, Soli and Pauline Asa, dedicated in loving memory of Eddie Misri Alav Shalom, the Lunishmat Ezra Ben Victoria, also for the Refuah Shalema of Chana Batzim Fega and Leyahu Ben Shom Memazal Fortuné. And the week of Kobu was sponsored by David E. Ash in honor of you and your substantial capacity to do good today and every day. Rabotai, if anyone would like to donate any of the classes or dedicate any of the classes, please make sure that you send us an email at info@ejsny.org, and they will send you the details as to how to do it. As a lot of people, even though it says it on the video, listen to the class in audio, and they say, how come you never tell us how to be able to dedicate a class? So here I am, telling you how to dedicate a class, info@ejsny.org, and Be'ezat Hashem, we'll look to see you here, or at least your dedications here soon. Robert Marcus, a shout out for giving us an idea of something to try to help people, and I'll ask you guys out there to feed me back and let me know if this is helpful or confusing. But today is Monday, and last night on Sunday night we counted Hayom Shilosha Asayom LaOmer Shem Shavua Echad V'Shisha Yamim, 1 week and 6 days to the Omer, the 13th day. Hashem should bless us to be able to always remember the Omer and to be able to count the mitzvah the proper way. If you did not count last night, please use this as your opportunity to count along with me, and inshallah we'll try and remind the people every day what we were up to in the Omer. Let's begin. The Torah tells us perhaps one of the most famous lines in all of the Torah, but it gives us a precursor. Let's begin. The Torah says, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. See, Shai just walked in. Even though I said Ve'ahavta l'reacha, he was able on the spot to finish the sentence. That's how famous this sentence is. Although it's not a proof, because Shai is a big Talmid Chacham, so maybe Shai would have been able to anyway. But my friends, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You have to love the reacha, your friend, kamocha, like yourself. That sounds like a beautiful pasuk, doesn't it? Sounds very how do you say? I guess loving, kind, beautiful, egalitarian, equitable, all sorts of language that we would use to describe a mitzvah that says you have to love your friend like yourself. Gorgeous. But if you look at the in closing sentences, you realize that actually it's not exactly what you might have thought it was. The pasuk starts off, it tells you in the first verse, Lo telech rachil be'amecha. Don't go around speaking lashon hara about your friends. Don't ruin their chances of a good life, of a good marriage, of a good business partner, etc., etc. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, next. Don't hate your brother in your heart. Don't have hatred for this guy. You don't like him so much. He does this, he does that, he says this, says that, he wears this, he wears that, he supports this. Don't hate your brother. Then the pasuk continues. Don't take revenge. Don't bear a grudge in your heart. And after you said all of those things, why am I sharing with you the context here? Because context in this scenario helps us understand that Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha might not be as, shall we say, lovey-dovey as you might have thought. It doesn't start off by saying, never see faults in anybody, b'tzedek tishpot amitecha, every Jew is a wonderful person, everybody has good qualities about them. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. It says, don't hate your brother in your heart. Don't take revenge. Don't bear a grudge. Don't go speak badly about him. Oh, and love him. That kind of love is a very different love. When the kids are screaming and fighting in the back seat, and you're like, guys, stop fighting. Brothers and sisters should love one another. You've just set the bar for the kind of love that you're talking very low, right? Because they're in the middle of fighting. All you're saying is, effectively, stop fighting. But imagine, you're talking about giving tzedakah, doing best thing for everybody, always having a compliment on your lips, and you should really love them like you love yourself. Now we're setting the bar very high. So the context actually is helpful in ascertaining exactly what the ve'ahavta is asking from you. Now, surprisingly, the commentators, Mefarshim, explain that ve'ahavta re'acha kamocha actually does not mean that you have to love somebody as much as or more than yourself. And they prove it, because actually that's not something which is really possible, says Ramban. Okay? Other commentators bring a different proof to this idea, right? Not just that it's not possible, but, right, Ramban also actually says this. It's actually not true halachically. If there's a business opportunity on the table, and I could take it, or I could give it to Joseph over here, who do I give it to? I'm supposed to take it, right? I love him, but I have a responsibility to my family. I have a responsibility to myself. And in the language of Chazal, that's called Chayecha Kodmin. Your life comes first. So therefore, Ve'ahavta re'acha kamocha is not some lofty thing. It's asking you, in the language of Chazal, Mai desan ilach, what is hateful unto you, lechavrecha al ta'avid. Don't do it to your friend. In fact, that's how Hillel HaZaken interpreted this pasuk. So on the one hand, you look at this and you're like, wow, love, 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 love. And then comes the Gemara and it's like, listen, don't punch him in the eye. Don't take revenge against him. That's what we're talking about. So my friends, I want to try and reconcile these two ideas, these two approaches, these two concepts. One simple way of understanding it is that minimally have enough love for him not to beat him up. Maximally, you should have enough love for him that you love him like you love yourself. But I think perhaps what Hillel HaZaken was teaching us, by transforming this sentence into its own negative interpretation, not negative in a bad way, but just not to do a negative thing about it. What was Hillel teaching us by transforming this? Ve'ahavta into, don't, if you don't like it done to you, don't do it to him. I think, my friends, the answer is that all love begins somewhere. All love begins somewhere. And if there's not an opening for that love to begin, then it never starts. I'll give you an example. Imagine you come to the synagogue, you're a single guy, and someone says, meet this girl, very nice girl. I think she would be perfect for you to marry. You look at the person, thank you very much, it's not my type, I can see already. Maybe she's too religious, maybe she's not religious enough. I don't know what the reason might be, but I can see she's not for me. I said she's a nice girl. What did you say? No, you're fighting with me. All I said was that she's a nice girl. All I said was but you know why? Because I said she's a nice girl for you to marry. The window of deciding or looking or entertaining or agreeing with me is so small, because the bar for entry is for marriage. Is this clear? If I said, as an example, listen, I know you're a well-connected guy, very nice person, you know a lot of people. You probably know some people that maybe could use someone, could give a job. There's a wonderful woman in the community over here. I want to introduce you. I think she would be an amazing employee. Maybe you could help get her a job. Would you be a little bit more open to that meeting now? Much more open, right? Why? Because the barrier for entry is much lower. Doesn't cost me anything. Now imagine I lowered it even more. I said, the Hazit, there's a very nice woman over here. She needs tzedakah. She's not well. Would you mind if she tells you a little bit about herself? Right? Now I lowered it. Of course, Rabbi, sure, please. Oh, wow. Now you're listening. You're feeling compassion, empathy, sympathy to this woman who's telling you all the story because she's got this sickness, that sickness. Of course, here you go. Here's some tzedakah. What the Torah was doing was something very simple. It took the bar from loving someone all the way up there and said, listen, could you not take revenge against the guy? Look, I'm not asking you for much. This guy in the corner, Yeah, Sonny, you see that guy with it? Dakhilak. If you're going to gossip about anyone in the shul, don't gossip about him. Hazi, he's got so much going on. You don't know. What would you tell him? Of course, Rabbi, I don't gossip about nobody anyway. You don't have to worry about me. I'm good. I'm clear. No problem, right? But of course, I'll take extra care not to do that. The Torah opened the window a crack. And the funniest thing about love is that our rabbis teach us that love is actually counterintuitive. And when you teach this idea to people, if they've heard it, if they've not heard it, a lot of times, if they've not heard it, for sure they're surprised. But even when they've heard it a bunch of times, it's not something that sits well with them. You see, our definition of love, when I love somebody, really what I mean to say is, right, that I love the things that I get from that person. That's usually what people mean when they say, well, really, what do you love about them? Wow, you don't know. They're the kindest person. She takes care of me. My wife, you know, I don't even understand. She makes me special, my favorite dinner every night of the week. Baruch Hashem, his favorite dinner is chicken nuggets out of the package. Otherwise, Hada's not going to survive the weekend, right? But my friends, you know, you have this guy, he's telling you how much he loves his wife because of what she does for him, right? Really? You love your husband? Why? Why do you love about him? He makes me laugh. So really, what are you saying? I love myself. I love what I get from this person that I say I love. But in the Torah's eyes, actually love is diametrically opposite to that assumption. Love doesn't mean that you get something. Love means that you give something. And Chazal tell us that the more a person gives to somebody, the more they love them. Fascinating, right? So what did the Torah do? I want to share with you something unbelievable. We say this all the time. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akasha Omer, Sammy Sutton's favorite teaching. We miss you, Sammy. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akasha Omer, right? What does he say, Rabbi Hananiah? Anyone know? Ratzah Hakadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Yisrael. Hashem wanted to give the Jewish people merit. Lefikach kirba lehem Torah mitzvot. Therefore, He added many Torah, a lot of mitzvot that a person could do. Okay, because Hashem wanted to give us merit. All the commentators ask the same question. If you want to give the people zechut, don't give them a lot of mitzvot. Give them one mitzvah. Right now, Hada, he can't do this, he can't eat there, he can't go there. He has to check his watch, his calendar, his, who he's going, where he's going, what he's doing, what he's eating, what he's saying. He's going to the bathroom, which shoe he's tying, which hand he's using. The Torah regulates everything. What is that? Infinite chances to do things wrong. So what is Rabbi Hanina teaching us? Hashem wanted to give us zechut, so therefore He gave us more Torah and mitzvot. This is a famous question. I always felt that the question itself was in some way a little bit flawed, because we have an example of a time when Hashem gave one mitzvah in the Garden of Eden and the Tree of Knowledge, and let's look how that worked out. So God, look, I tried the other way. It resulted in death for the world, right? I figured I better go another way. However, my friends, there are different answers to this question. I'd like to suggest one. Maybe what Rabbi Hanina was telling us. What was Rabbi Hanina telling us? He was telling us not about the mitzvot that you have to do. He was telling us about the mitzvot that you don't have to do. Let me explain. What is the mitzvot that I don't have to do? Rabbi, I would come to more of your classes if I knew that you tell us that there's mitzvot we don't have to do. Thousands of people are turning the recording off now. I don't want to hear. I listened to most of the class and Rabbi Foy said you don't have to do mitzvot. Okay. The Torah tells you, thou shalt not kill. How often is this a problem for the people in this room? Every day. Spoken like a true Kohen, by the way. Kohanim have that extra zing, yeah, right? That's what it says. They have that extra zing in their blood. They're passionate. They have to channel it. They channel it for kedusha, but unattended, left unattended. Every day is a day of rage. Right? It's not usually a problem. Do you ever feel the urge? I mean, unless you're Hamas, you ever felt the urge to kidnap somebody? Torah says, Lo tignov. One place lo tignov means don't steal money. One place lo tignov means don't steal people. Don't kidnap people. Did the Torah have to tell you that? No. But God is so kind. Do you know what he did? He gave me a gorgeous mitzvah. I'm sitting on a beach, relaxing, doing nothing. But actually, I'm also not killing Rabotai. The only thing I'm killing is time, right? All right. I'm also not kidnapping at the moment. More napping than kidnapping. Rabotai, what is happening over here is that we're seeing that there are many mitzvot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us, that the achievement of that mitzvah is by not doing it. And maybe I wouldn't have even done it. My favorite example of this has to be the mitzvah of shikha. Shikha, Rashi says, person leaves a sheaf, the sheaves in the field. They're gathering all their things, the wheat. They leave a few. The mitzvah of the Torah is, if you forgot them, leave it for the poor. That's what it says. Okay? Rashi says, what do you see from here? You see that if a guy didn't even intend to give tzedakah, right? Why did he leave them there? He forgot them. What would have happened with the forgotten wheat that he left behind? It would have went to waste. Nothing would have happened. Ani would have taken it. Something. What would you have got from your forgotten sheaves? Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Zero. Zippo. Or another word for zero. Matenat yado. Oh, okay, fine. My friends, hear me on this, because I think this is very important. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a mitzvah out of nothing. Now you forgot it. Oh, you forgot it for the poor. Really? I forgot it because I'm forgetful. I forgot it because I still have COVID. You understand? I forgot it because, I don't know, I drink too much. I don't know why. I forgot it because I forgot it. There's no mitzvah there. Hashem made up a mitzvah. And what's the mitzvah? If you forgot something, don't go back, Leave it for the poor guy. Now, my friends, what happens if I forget it? I don't go back to get it. The poor guy doesn't even take it. Doesn't matter. I still get the mitzvah of shikha. That's Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lezakot et Yisrael. Sometimes you have a kid, the kid, you want to give the kid something. So what do? You make a deal with them. If you do this, if you do that. If you don't want to give them the object, you make it impossible. Right? You tell a kid, I will take you to great adventures if for the entirety of this day, my 3-year-old son, you don't kvetch, complain, or talk. That's not great adventures, that's no adventures. Right? No one is going anywhere. Right? But you made it seem like the kid had it, How about if you want to take the kid to great adventures, but you don't just want to spoil him, you want to give to him, but you don't just want to spoil him. He should feel he gets everything he wants. He should feel entitled. So what do? Set the bar low. You tell the kid, listen, if we could drive the 2 blocks from the house to school and you don't pull your sister's hair, we're going to go to Great Adventures today. The kid's sitting there, he's like this. Right? I think I can. Right? He does it. Great, fantastic, take him to Great Adventures. What's the difference in those 2 dads? One dad don't want to go to Great Adventures. The other one, the one that wants to go, the one that wants to give, the only thing he doesn't want to spoil. So he'll give his child the opportunity to be able to do something to earn it, and he'll purposefully make that mitzvah easy. Borei Olam is not the first dad. He's not trying to get out of giving us sachar in Shamayim. He's not trying to get out of giving us parnasah or shalom or happiness or nahar from our kids. He wants to give it all to us. But like the Zohar told us, I can't give you everything for free because that is the bread of embarrassment. A gift is something that a person should be ashamed to live on. In the eyes of the Torah, in the eyes of God, you're getting something and you didn't do anything for it, you should be ashamed of that. A person should work for what they have. This idea of creating an environment where people should stay unemployed forever, that's something only the liberal left could cook up. And then call it a policy of kindness, when they're destroying not just the person who gets it, but they're destroying all the children of that person who watch their father sit at home, play video games, and collect his unemployment check. Because you know what? He's making more money that way than by going and flipping burgers. A dad who cares makes his son work. But he doesn't make his son work in a way where it's impossible to get. He eases him in. Sorry? The best tzedakah is to get the guy the job. Yeah, not even. No, don't give him money for free. You're perpetuating this. My friends, that's what this pasuk is doing. Hashem is saying, Ve'ahavta re'acha kamocha. But you know what the bar is for entry? Could you just not hate him so much? I'm not saying you have to marry off your daughter to a Hasidish guy if you're halabi, with long peot and a big fur hat. Don't have to do that. But could you just not hate on him? Yeah, is that okay? Is that right? If you're Ashkenaz and you see a Sephardic guy, could you just not make fun and try and pretend that it's funny the way that we talk, when that's probably, according to Rav Moshe Feinstein and others, how it always was? I remember in Lakewood once, all the kids were making fun of me. They were like, Homash, Mishnayot, Homash. And my rabbi was like, you know they're probably right. You know that, right? The kids. The rabbi stood up for me. He said, that pronunciation is probably correct. And then he told me, he goes, and of all the pronunciations, the one that's probably the most correct is the Yemenite, which made my brother-in-law very happy. But all the Halabiya were like, no, what are you talking about? My friends, HaKadosh Baruch Hu eases us in. My question for today is, if that's what our Father in heaven wants, maybe that could be something that we work on. I just learned with we have a group of boys who are learning Gemara with me. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. You're more than welcome to join. Sunday morning, Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, before Minha, 5:45. We'd love to have you with us. We're learning Masechet Makot. And we just learned in Masechet Makot that there's a disproportionate amount of cities of refuge. You have 3 in Israel, but then you have 3 Me'ever LaYarden, on the other side of the Jordan River. And the Gemara asks, how come? Why are there equal 3 on the other side of the River Jordan? Because on that side, who lived there? 2.5 tribes, Reuven, Gad, and Hatzi Shevet Menashe. So 2.5 tribes live there. How many tribes lives in Israel? Do the math. Yeah, 9.5. So you have 3 cities of refuge for 2.5 tribes, and you have 3 cities of refuge for 9.5. Like the kids like to say, your math ain't mathin'. Gemara answers, B'Gilad shichichi rotzechin. In Gilad, in the other side of the Yarden, that city, shichichi rotzechin, there's a lot of murderers there. So we needed more of the cities over there. You know why? Because a lot of murderers over there. Gemara asks a follow-up question. 1 second, but if you look at the equidistant cities on the Jewish side and Israel side, right, there'll be some people who will be closer, some people further. Because if you live at the northernmost or at the southernmost tip, you could be up to, let's say, 10 miles away from the city. If you live in the middle, in between 2 cities, you could never be more than 5 miles away. So how come Right? How come there's more? Answers the Gemara. B'Shchem shchichi rotzchim. In Shechem also there were a greater number of murderers. So therefore, in the middle, you need middle of the Eretz Israel, which Shechem is located, you needed to have a greater concentration of Arei Miklat. I was thinking this morning, my friends, in Gilad, I understand, Chutz La'aretz, I get it. But why is there a city in Israel that has more rotzchim, more murderers? And I remembered a very important point. Shechem is a very powerful place. It's a place where Shimon and Levi put on their swords and they went to fight and kill to save their sister. They wiped out the city because they were holding Dinah hostage. He kidnapped, he raped Dinah, and he was holding a hostage to try and convince her. And now, after the fact, without letting her leave, they wanted to come negotiate with Yaakov. We'll give you this, we'll take this. My, how things have not changed. A great idea. Let's negotiate while we hold your daughter. Shimon and Levi say, yeah, sure, 100%. All you should get Brit Milah, and then we'll talk about it. They all get Brit Milah. Shimon and Levi wipe out the place. And they go and they take back their sister. So it's a place where Shimon and Levi show the care and concern that they're willing to risk their lives to save their family member. But the Chachamim tell us that later, Yaakov Avinu says to Yosef, go follow your brothers, and they're going out over there. Go see how they're doing. Where did he send Yosef? He sent Yosef to Shechem. Yosef goes, he can't find them. He asks the Ish, our rabbis tell us was the angel, where are my brothers? And the Pasuk says, I see this young fellow over here, did with his head, Naseu mizeh. I notice everything. Naseu mizeh, they traveled from here. The Chachamim tell us, you know what it means, Naseu mizeh? They traveled from here. This city, Shechem, which represents brothers standing by, brothers, families sticking together, Naseu mizeh. They left that. They're no longer in that mindset. They're not here for you, they're not here with you. The angel was telling Yosef, don't go follow them. They hate you so much, they've moved on from you being a brother. I believe it's the Chidah that says, Naseu mizeh. The word zeh, zayin is 7, hey is 5. Together is 12. Naseu mizeh. They no longer are thinking of themselves as a unit of 12. You're out of the picture. Naseu mizeh. My friends, our rabbis tell us that still till today, we're paying the price for the hatred between the brothers of Yosef and him. And Yosef's whole scheme was to try and fix that problem. Bring them down, have them risk their lives for the other brother, Binyamin. But in the end, like the Pasuk says, Ve'lo yachol Yosef lehitapek. Yosef could not hold back anymore, indicating that Yosef wanted to go further, that the job was not yet done. Yosef was trying to fix the rift between the brothers, but he was not able to get to the finish line, indicating, my friends, that that break between brothers was still there. My friends, what does that mean? It means that the sin'ah, the hatred, in Shechem, from all the way back then, had not been erased. And now you look at the Gemara, and you understand, B'Shechem, shchichi rotzchim. In Shechem you could find murderers. Because my friends, when you hate somebody, you could do anything to them. But if you love somebody, even if your love is very small, it's just not hating them. It's just that the love is only, it consists of not hating them. That's how much I love you. You know how much I love you? Enough to not hate you. You know how much I love you? I'm not going to take revenge and bear a grudge against you. You know how much I love you? I'm not going to go tell everybody about you, ruin your life. That's minimal. No one is saying go away for Passover with them. On that level, my friends, Ahava can begin. So I want to ask all of us a question. There's got to be someone in the family that you don't particularly like. Got to be one of the members in your friend group in the Beit Knesset. You know what? Doesn't rate very high on your friendometer. If you had 1,000 friends left to accept on Facebook, and he asked to be your friend, you would still tell him no. That guy. Can you find a way to love him in the smallest way possible? Again, I don't have to help you be creative. All of you can do it yourself. You don't want to do business with him? You don't like him? No problem. Could you think for 1 second maybe, you know what? The guy does this. Maybe I'll introduce him to my other friend who also does the same thing. Maybe there'll be an opportunity. I'm not getting involved. I have nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with it. But I'm going to do something tiny. You know what? There's a bunch of seats in the Beit Knesset. I'm not on purpose going to go sit on the other side of the shul. Away from him. Small. If we could start with something as minimal as that. Walk up to the guy before on Shabbat. Go out of the shul a drop early when they're taking out the Torah. Get a chumash. Hand it to him. You could even make believe like you didn't do it just for him. You got two. One for him, one for Kamsa, one for Bar Kamsa. Chavod. Could you get in? Could we crack the door open? When a person starts that ahava in the tiniest of ways, then the ahava grows. Hashem should bless us to always make those efforts, to always do that kind of a thing, and that power should power us to a true ahavat Yisrael, ahavat chinam, which will ultimately bring Mashiach. Amen. Rabbi Hananya ben Akasha omer, Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu Zechut Israel.